Thank you for tuning in to the Real Sisters ATL. I'm Allison.
I am Christina.
And yes, we are
Real Sisters.
All right, y'all. We are back at it again.
You know
Coming to y'all with another explosive film.
Explosive.
And it is a classic.
Ooh.
I mean, now we featured some classics, but this is an OG classic.
I mean, OG.
We have been wanting to take it like back for some time now. Definitely stay tuned because you never know. We might be taking it back to the 70s, the 80s, the 60s. You never know what we're going to pull out of the hat. So, before we get started, please like, subscribe, tag, share it to everybody you know. Tell them to chime in, log in. Join us as we review some of your favorite horror classics, new and old. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into what we're talking about. Children of the Corn! I always get so excited. Oh my God, I remember this. This is one of my favorites. Now, we are doing the original Children of the Corn.
We are, because we know it's like maybe 5 or 6 of them.
Yeah, there's several, but this is the 1984 version that we are reviewing. So all of our Stephen King fans, tag them, tell them to chime in. And y'all definitely chime in below and let us know what your thoughts were on the movie. So let's get into it.
You have this little boy, you know, he's at church and he notices something strange. He's the only kid at church.
Ooh.
And you know,
that's rough.
You know that's a sign.
You ain't got nobody pass a note.
I mean, because typically when you go to church,
a piece of candy.
I remember when I was a kid and I was in church, I look forward to seeing the other kids.
You know, somebody to play rock, paper, scissors with.
So the little kid notices, like, hey, you know, I don't see no other children at the church. So they all, like, it's a tradition for them to go over to this diner, I think called Hanson's, where everyone, you know, just eat and fellowship after church.
Sunday dinner.
Yeah, a little Sunday, what they consider a Sunday fun day.
I guess. In the middle of nowhere.
Right, and this literally was in the middle of nowhere, Nebraska, might I add.
Interesting.
So they're at this diner, and the kids that were there seemed to be acting strange, and the little boy noticed that. Like,
they were like in this weird trance-like state. Just kind of like looking around, sideways.
Just looking crazy, and out of nowhere, all you see is like all of the adults, they drink this coffee, and then they act like they're about to pass out. I'm like, what is going
Falling
on?
all over the place.
Like, was the coffee like, you know, like somebody make it wrong?
Right. Not decaf or something?
Right, because everybody started choking and passing out.
All the coffee drinkers, if y'all know what it might have been, if it was related to the coffee, let us know.
Right. I'm like, what's going on? So out of nowhere, you see these kids taking these knives out, cutting up everybody, like
slicing through.
I'm just like, what is going on? And then, and then you see like the ringleader, Isaac, he's standing outside, you know, looking through the window like he watching a movie. I'm like, what is going on? So they kill all of these adults. Like, you know, what is the point of wanting to kill these adults? But then it slowly transitions to determine later on that they wanted to take control and they didn't want no adults to be a part of that. They wanted to be
no adults allowed.
Yeah, like no adults allowed. They wanted the kids to worship Isaac and Malachi. And again, we'll, you know, dive into who they are later on. It transitions to where, you know, you have this couple and they're driving to Seattle, you know, through Nebraska. They decided to drive down this dirt road. I have no idea, like, why they wanted to go on that road. I'm like, they couldn't just fly, like,
I mean, no scenic route.
Like, no, nothing. I mean, just cornfield everywhere. I'm like, what's going on? So they're driving down this road, and out of nowhere, they end up hitting this little boy. And to talk about the little boy, this transitions back to the whole killing of the adults thing. This other little boy didn't want to be a part of that. He was like, look, I'm good.
I'm getting out of here.
I am getting out of here. So
he
he
the little
packed,
boy and the little girl like, listen, y'all gotta stay. I can't be responsible
he's like,
for
look,
you. Because he was only, what, like 8?
Yeah, he wasn't that old. And he's like, look, I gotta go because I need some adults around. I can't be around just kids. So he packed up his little suitcase, you know, when you 8.
Poor thing.
Yeah, you don't know what to pack. You know, but honestly, he was a little smart with it because he had like the little compass, the map, a few clothes. Yeah. He was like, look, okay, I'm ready. Just set off in the rows. Yeah. In the cornfields. So it was crazy because simultaneously as that was happening, you know, he's going through the cornfield trying to escape. You have this couple just driving down the street. And during that time, one of the leaders, Malachi, catches up with the little boy. He's like, look, you're not about to leave. I'm going to kill you before you leave. So he slashes his neck. I'm like, dang.
Yeah, I was messed up.
Yeah.
I was rooting for him.
I was hoping the little boy, you know, got away, found him a little family, you know, just live happily ever after. You know, wouldn't that be amazing?
Right. Not in a Stephen King movie.
So, I don't know. And it's so weird because even though he got his neck sliced up, he was still able to
make his way out to the road, didn't he?
Yeah. He was in the middle of the street where the couple end up hitting the little boy.
Flying at full speed.
I mean, full speed ahead. They were like, you know how you get distracted, you know, you looking down, you looking around. They looking at the cornfield, thinking about probably what's going to happen the next day. You know how we do when we get distracted when we in our cars. So they hit this little boy and they are thinking initially like, oh my goodness, I have killed this little boy. So they go close up to kind of see what has happened. Yeah. During that time, one of the leaders, Malachi, who actually killed the little boy, he like looking at them.
Yeah, he's like peering at them through the cornfield.
Yeah.
It was creepy. And then they turned the little boy over and realized his throat was cut.
Yeah, I was like, dang, like that's messed up. Yeah. So of course this couple is panicking. Oh, they don't know what to do. They on the road trying to get his internship. One breath is like, look, hey, I realize I didn't kill a little boy. Let's figure it out. Put him to the side. Act like we didn't see it. Or go find, or the right thing to do, which is go find help. So that's what they did.
And they did that. They put the little boy in the trunk and went on their way.
So they come across this gas station. So they're thinking, okay, you know what? It has to be somebody there, you know, to ask where they can find help, you know, to put the little boy. They see that the little boy has his throat, you know, slash. It gotta be a parent, cousin, brother, somebody around to assist. Already in the middle of nowhere, so it's like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Like that's hard. So they come across this gas station. They come across this mechanic, and he's like, "Look, I don't know what to tell you. You just need to go and find some help somewhere else
because I think he made a deal with the children of the corn because he was one of the last adults left.
He was. So he was like, look,
like, all right, listen.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you nothing.
Stitches get sliced up.
Right.
Stitches literally.
Yeah, so he like, look, I don't know nothing because the mechanic didn't want to be involved because he, in his mind, hey, if I tell this couple what's going on, they about to come kill me because I don't know if you guys seen the movie, but if you notice, he mumbles to himself in the movie and he said, you know, I'm not saying anything. I didn't tell them nothing, you know, basically implying like, hey, I'm on you guys' side, do not kill me. But they weren't trying to hear that because they end up still coming and slicing and dicing.
They took out the mechanic.
Yeah.
They said, listen.
I'm like, why y'all do the mechanic? Like, and I mean, he already limping, you know, trying to get around. All he got is a little scruffy little dog. Like, come on.
And it makes you wonder, maybe that was like, maybe I'm going too far with this, but... and maybe I'm getting too deep with this, but it makes you wonder, like, maybe they ultimately was planning on killing him anyway, so he couldn't fix anybody's car so they could leave.
That makes sense.
Y'all chime in.
What
Let me know if y'all was on to that too.
Right. That's a very good analogy. Good job on that one. So, of course, you have this couple. They're still trying to find help because clearly the mechanic did not, provide assistance to them. So they stumble across this house, there's corn everywhere, but they're looking at it as a place that they can potentially find help.
Right.
So
and wasn't this after like they rode around for miles and miles and they kept only seeing a sign for Gatlin?
I know, that was so weird.
And I'm just like, no matter where you go, left, right, straight,
you see the
Gatlin.
Same location. Like, I would go crazy. Just picture if you had like a time limit, like 30 minutes, and then all you see is the same sign everywhere you go. Like, I was literally like, okay, come on now.
That would creep me out.
Yeah, that would creep me out. So, of course, they come across this house and they see these two little kids. They're wondering, where are your parents? Like, where's all the adults? Of course, these little kids are not saying anything because they're scared if they say anything that the leaders, which are Isaac and Malachi, are going to come after them. And they don't want that. So they're in the house. The couple comes and is like, okay, well, you know what? I need to find help. Vicky, which is the lady, she's like, okay, well, I'll stay here with the kids. Burt says, you know what? I'm going to seek out help the best way I can because I can't have this little boy in my car. Like, I'm trying to find out, realize like
get him up out of here.
Let me get him up out of here because I can't take him with me. And who wants to be riding around with a dead body?
Look, not me.
Right. So he goes seeking out help. She stays there with the little kid, or with the little girl, shall I say. And, she's trying to entertain the little girl. So she's like, okay, draw a picture of me. So out of nowhere, the little girl shows her the picture, and it's a picture of her in the cornfield being tied up with, all of these different men around her. So of course the lady is like,
little girl had a premonition.
I know.
I wonder if she knew I could win the lottery next week or something.
I'm telling you.
Like, sis, just write them down.
Yeah, just write them down. Just go to sleep. Just write them down, please.
I'll cut you in on it.
Right. I'll give you some percentage. A nice percentage at that. So she looks at this paper and she's like, okay, what is this? And at the same time, the leader and all of the kids realize that lady is in the house because if you notice throughout the time that they got into the city, kids were watching them from different angles. Yeah. Seeing their every move. So when they noticed that Burt left, they're like, look, I'm about to come and
let's go in.
Take girl, take her to the cornfield and do whatever we want.
Sacrifice her, whatever we need to do. So they go in, stomping at her like, look, you about to come with us. And she like, nah. So she fight, trying to fight. But, of course, when you're talking about 4 or 5 guys overpowering this young lady, you're like, okay, you know what? There's nothing I can do. So they take her to the cornfield. Burt, at this time, he looking around. He trying to find help. He see it ain't nobody nowhere. Like, what is going on? They have taken the whole entire town out.
Yeah. What is going on? So he goes back to the house and he realizes Vicky is gone. So he's like, okay, now hold up. Where is she? And you have this little girl who she was just talking with. She's still there.
Still sitting there.
Yeah. So she's, just as mute as ever. And he's asking her like, okay, where is Vicky? He's getting frustrated. He like, look, where is this girl? Where is my lady? Because look, little girl, I'm about to take you out. I know he was probably thinking that. Like, okay, come on. So she points to that picture showing where lady is out in the cornfield with the guys, they're summoning her or whatever they're going to do to her.
Right.
So, of course, his first instinct is to go out in the cornfield.
To look for her, make sure she's safe because they were already kind of distraught, physically driving through the cornfield earlier in the movie. And she was yelling like, tell me where we are. He's like, I don't know.
Like, look, I don't know where we, don't you hate when people be like, oh, well, where are we going? Where is this?
Or if you lose something, oh, where'd you last put it?
How would I know?
Listen here.
If I knew, I would tell you. Or I would know where it is.
I would have it.
So she's screaming. It's like, oh, and that goes back earlier in the scenes where she was, yelling, talking about, where are we? So they're in this cornfield, and it was just a lot going on in the cornfield because you had Vicky, she's there, she's tied up, you have the kids surrounding her, but at the same time, you have the two leaders. Of course, when it comes to leadership, as you know, no one likes to be on the same level. One person has to feel like they're above the next person. Yeah. And that's where Malachi and Isaac battle. Because Isaac was considered or looked at himself as the leader. Malachi was like, nah, you ain't on that. You're not the leader, I'm the leader. So they're going head to head to the point where Malachi, I feel like he had more like power, or it was more people on his side, because when it came down to it, they were like, okay, tie up Isaac. Like, let's tie him up.
Isaac gave just very dictator vibes. Like, I don't need any help. I'm in charge.
And Malachi seemed like he was a little bit more easygoing in a sense with the other children.
Right.
So they were, battling head to head like, look, okay, I'm in charge. Yeah. So you have Vicky in the field. Then you have Malachi.
Yeah, didn't Malachi want Isaac to be like sacrificed in her place?
Yeah,
it was because he was kind of growing tired of being chastised by Isaac for, I believe, killing the mechanic.
Yeah,
so that kind of got real, drama filled too.
It gave me, what was one of those like?
I mean, listen, if there was a reality TV show back during that time,
yes, that would have been spot on.
This would have been a fire finale episode for sure.
It's giving very much Young and the Restless, horror edition. So you have all of this is going on, and of course Burt, he's gonna make sure that his woman is good, and that's what you call a real man.
You better ride for your woman.
You better ride for your woman. So he goes to the cornfield where they're at, and of course he can't just take her and just say, oh, come on, let's go. He have to out of whoever it is to get her, of course, released or, rescued. So he goes in the cornfield and he's battling him and Malachi. They're fighting because he's like, look, you're not going to take my woman out. Y'all can go and summon and do whatever else y'all need to do. But
leave us out of it.
She going to stay right here with me. So they're fighting. And I think during that time, it just kind of transitions to where, like,
I think that supernatural presence starts to take over Isaac. Whoever who walks behind the rose is supposed to be this deity that they're worshiping. But this supernatural presence, it has kind of like overtaken him.
Yeah.
And it was just very weird. And he's like screaming and stuff. Like,
like a little girl and stuff. I'm like, what is this?
It was really off-putting.
Yeah, it was
confusing.
Yeah, it was a little bit much. So at this time, they are, I think, still battling. Like, Isaac to the point where I think Isaac in turn kills Malachi.
Yeah.
Because he's like, look, you're not going to be the ruler. I am.
Right. Because I think he came back or was like revived.
Yeah.
By he who walks behind the rose.
And I remember him turning into, he turned it into like this little.
He looked like he was electrocuted. He had two big scabs on his face.
I was like, what in the world is going on here?
Listen,
like,
you got to start living right.
You got to start
if you coming back looking like that, we all want to come back as a butterfly.
Yes,
or
beautiful, fresh.
I don't want to come back looking like Isaac.
Right, Isaac was.
I'm into the universe now.
Isaac looked like he had been through.
Yeah, he was going out kicking and screaming. Okay.
So while all of this is going on, you have this dark cloud that's covering the entire cornfield because, of course, you got all these forces tying in together.
This negative energy.
Yeah. So
didn't they take the kids into like the barn?
Yeah. So of course, Burt was like, look, as he's fighting Malachi, he done knocked him down. He's telling the other kids that are out there, like, look, this person does not have your best interest. He just want to in turn eventually kill you or use you for whatever. So the kids, of course, catch on like, okay, you know what? You might be right. So they go into this barnyard because all of these forces are coming together. the cornfield has covered, like this dark cloud has covered the cornfield. Right. So they're trying to figure out what is going to kill these negative, evil leaders and what is going to eventually save the children. So the little boy says, okay, well, if you read out the scripture, then that will in turn kill the leader who's, you know, been just all of this, you know, evil stuff, you know, killing everyone, just seeking out revenge and so forth. So they read out this scripture
about like the cornfield needs to be destroyed by fire or something.
Yeah, because
so they get some kind of substance or something and spray it over the cornfield, I think, and set the whole cornfield on fire. They like, listen,
look. That's what you need to do sometimes. Yeah. You got to take it. You got to go to that
Sometimes
stream.
You just have to clear the slate.
You do. You got to
chime in below and let us know when you've had to clear the slate. You know, there's a lesson to be learned.
It is.
From all of this madness in this film.
A true lesson. So you have it to where eventually they end up killing Malachi Isaac. Oh, thank God. Because it was like, what is going on? Like, they are some terrorists. Like, I'm like, these are kids.
And they started young.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they didn't look that old.
Yeah, I'm just like, goodness. I mean, they just taking everybody out.
Right.
So eventually it calms down after they read that scripture. Once you read those scriptures, it's a force to where they take out all of that evil, which in turn kills that negativity or whatever that evil presence is. So you get to the end, of course, everyone is good. After all of the injuries, the fighting and the just fires, it was just
sliced and chased and tied up.
I'm just like, goodness, like this man cannot make his internship. Like, what is going on? So you get to the very end, and it was so funny the way it ended because, of course, you have the two main kids, and then you have this couple, and of course, they don't want to leave the kids there by themselves because at that point, of course, they realize all of the adults are gone. And they're like, okay, you know what? We'll take you guys with us. And they're getting ready to get in this car to, you know, go. And then you have this other girl, or I'll say teenager. I think what was her name? Rachel? Yeah, she comes out of nowhere about to attack the guy before he can get in the car. So Vicky was like, oh, no, I'm not having that. So she take that car door and knock that girl clean out. Yeah, and I think the funny part is she was saying, oh, you know, what should we do? Or the guy, shall I say, he was saying, oh, well, what should we do with her? And Vicky is like, look, we're going to leave her right here.
We'll send her a postcard. We're from Seattle.
Yeah, we'll send her a postcard in the mail. Like, look, no, after she tried to kill you, you think I'm going to try to save her? I don't think so.
She need to go out there, back out there in the cornfield with her little friends.
Right. She need to go back out there with her little friends because, no, sis, we are leaving you right where you were. So I would have to say this movie by far will forever be a classic.
Right.
You know, I don't know if you guys got a chance to see Children of the Corn 2, 3. They have so many.
But Stephen King has really just put out so many masterpieces. And I'm sure you'll be seeing them more in future episodes. So definitely stay tuned. We are super fans.
We are.
Of Stephen King movies.
We are. I have to ask before we end, what was your favorite part of this movie?
My favorite part was definitely that diner scene.
Yeah, that was.
I was just praying I never came into contact with whatever coffee they were drinking because it's like they wasted no time.
They did not.
Getting down to business with that opening scene. That had my eyes glued to the screen the entire film.
The same with me. Like it just. When the movie started and the way that kind of transitioned and the little boy, you know, he had his little milkshake and everything just looked like a beautiful, peaceful day. And then, you know, you see everyone being
0 to 60
real quick.
Slaughterhouse, real quick. But definitely chime in below. Let us know what your favorite scene was from this film. I'm sure you probably caught certain things we didn't even get a chance to dive into in this video. video. And again, do not forget to like, tag, subscribe, share to everybody you know. You can find us here on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, as well as our website, www.TheReelSistersATL.com.
Absolutely.
And definitely stay tuned for future episodes that we'll be bringing your way. It's going to be explosive.
It is.
And thank you for tuning in to The Real Sisters. And yes, we are
Real Sisters.